Thank you for being here today with us, myself and Isaiah, for Be Your Own Advocate. This is a show where we try to provide, not try, but we do provide information that helps you in your day to day, in following your purpose, finding your purpose, and just being able to be more effective in the lifestyle that you want to live. So today we have a really special guest. Her name is Jay Rahinkos, and she is the owner and founder of the Waterbar through Thought in Motion. She is a thought coach that has been in coaching people for 35 years and helping them strategically find their way to their life path, to avoiding obstacles, to being able to use the power of thought in order to be able to achieve the life that they want to live. So welcome today, Jay, to Be Your Own Advocate.
Hi, it's nice to be here.
Yes. So, one of the things that we found through the programming is for people, they have the desire and to change their life, to be more effective, to be more up and positive, and not go up and down, so that they can have a more straightforward path. Whether they're parents or they're in relationships or they're single, they just want to be able to achieve better control over their thoughts. And this is something I know that you have mastered over the years. You teach many people from 10-year-olds to 80-year-olds, and you work with them in order to be able to have them become their own advocate as far as the thought process goes. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you today, to find out some of the techniques that you and programs and strategies that you've used that you find to be the most effective. So
Thank you for the intro. I was taught at a young age that the now really matters, and your emotions, what you do with them, is your guidance system.
Right.
And unfortunately, in a busy life, even back then, we're too busy to pay attention to what we're feeling, so we ignore it. We make sure other people are happy. We take care of issues, but we don't take care of always our own. So, when you feel something, instead of avoiding it, the emotions just the first alert over what you're thinking and doing. And when you get in tune with that, being present, it does make a master. And what you do with those thoughts is what's so important. It's why I have the door theory, which I call the butterfly effect. I call it many different things because I have really unusual teachers that taught me this. And I've been practicing this since I was 16, and have had thousands of clients that realize we really have the same gift. We came here and our soul is giving us signals to either create a life that we love or not. Now, I'm not going to put outside variables in this conversation because the world brings them, which I call a decoy duck in many ways, because it takes us out of our peace and it brings us to a problem. And that seems to be the common denominator. What I'd like to say is make sure that you keep your circles clean, keep your priorities clean, and follow what is right for you. And you start to play in the game. It's why I have huge chess pieces upside down on the ceiling outside there.
Mhm.
Everything here is a reminder at the Waterbar. I call it a charging station, that you can come here and one way or another get an answer. And we have them inside, but they just don't teach it in schools, and they really need to.
Yeah.
So that's what I have been doing, is reminding people to follow your own inner guidance system, because it has great answers there.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you.
And so when you're teaching that, what are some of the initial? So, when you start working with somebody and I know how fast you identify, you call mapping it. So
I call it a map. Well, we all have a map. Yeah.
we all have a map, but you read the map quickly to see where their decoy ducks are, where
They're
um,
blocks,
their blocks are,
emotional blocks.
emotional blocks are. So what are when you're looking at a person and talking to them for the first time, what are some of the recommendations that you offer initially?
Well, first of all, we're all so unique, and I love that. So my priority is to listen and to really understand what they're saying, what's bothering them, what is not working in their life, what shows up often where they feel like they're painful. They have painful emotions that keep coming, and they try to ignore it. So I'll map out where the pains are, and I break it down in the core star, because you can see it in the chakra system, what a soul is feeling and doing. People think the physical body shows it all. No, the soul alerts it, and then the physical body represents what the pain is or the joy. So mapping them is just asking them questions, and they start to understand it themselves. And then from there, I break it down every
That's
time
really
we
important.
talk.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
understand it themselves. So you explain it to them what you're seeing, and then move them along the map, the trail, so that they are understanding as they go along. And each thing that they do is a thought that you put in, so that then they have new thoughts, right? You help them find new thoughts, right?
I'm just reminding them because we all have this. I've had many clients. I've clients, global CEOs, CFOs. I mean, I've had every category.
Right.
The service industry, the police industry. Um, we all know, but when you get used to feeling pain, your reflection, I have two mirrors here, it reflects back to you your lessons. If you don't like it, you have to start to learn how to pivot an idea. Shift it to what you want, not keep staring and expanding in the only living moment. You know, I'll always say to them, stop doing this, because they'll go back to the past so often that they bring it into the living moment, and the living moment determines their future, which hasn't happened yet. So the goal is to pay attention and remember to pull your energy into the body. What do I need? Not, oh my God, I got to do this. Oh my God, I got to help them. Oh my God, my mom in the pain she brings me, in the pain, you know, everything is a formula. It's what I like about Tesla, who's a great teacher, and Einstein's over here. I love icons because it's like stop signs. It allows you to know what to do. That's what I call iconology. It's reminding them to be present over what they're emotionally feeling, thinking, and then doing with those thoughts.
Can you talk a little bit more about that, the iconology and the icons and how
I
that
was
came to
taught,
be?
yeah, how to move a map is reminding them what to do. So I'll have them because they're so used to the loop, or the loop is when they repeat the same pattern over and over and over again, it becomes the norm, like
Yeah.
brushing our teeth or showering and eating in the morning. I give them new ideas and say, okay, we're going to get up tomorrow and be present over what you're going to do for the day. And you're going to remember to feel healthy, to drink your water, to exercise, to stop smoking, because I have had high risk for the last 14 years, which
Yeah.
means their maps were very hurt. And the solution, the goal is to get them to feel happy, to feel loved, to feel safe, to feel good enough, to feel powerful enough. And we really all are powerful enough. And the goal is to remember. So I will just do certain icons. I have them all over the back. We have them. I have them in the front of the water bar where they'll like it. They'll keep it as an easy idea. But as soon as they see it, some put it next to their toothbrush, some put it on their keychain, some put it where they go to make breakfast in the morning, that they're going to be present all day instead of being outside of themselves. And what they do is they find answers, because the only one that could hear what they need really is them. So, but a lot don't listen, unfortunately.
Right. Right. And they come back again and again because they still have the same wish to listen.
Yes.
And then
Yeah, they do.
I guess
I was
then
gonna say
I
it's
see them. I
complicated.
see people come back again and again. And I guess then, eventually, through your different strategies and processes, you can help them find their answers. One of the things that you were saying that was so interesting was, and she was talking about the patterns that she creates, that people create in their mind. And I'm wondering how you see those same patterns show up in the physical, or something like, I don't know. When she said that, I thought about how those patterns start to, impact on the body and create dysfunction, right?
They do.
Isaiah?
Yeah.
I think I heard, yeah. I mean, 100%. I
Yeah,
I
think,
was like, come on, Isaiah, I'm ready to
yeah,
hear.
I mean, I believe there's, yeah, in terms of advocacy, there's nothing more powerful than the narrative we tell and how we feel about that. In terms of ourself and our health and wellness and our relationships, it's so much about narrative and how we feel and orient around that narrative. Um, and the body, is ruled or shaped by, yeah, tissues, yeah, bone orientations, but really it's about emotion. It's about, like you said, do you feel safe or not? Do you feel connected? Are you connected to the source, the place where anxiety is not running you, or are we oriented towards the mind and that looping and that constancy versus the source? So I definitely encourage people all the time through different means to come back into a felt sense of their body as the guide.
Yeah, and then having the process, so it's like that connection of, what you feeling, in your body and in your heart. And Jay, I'm sure there's so many people that come to you that have emotional issues that also have physical issues.
Mhm.
They've kind of woven them together, and so you'll help them walk out of the patterns, and then through the physical they can walk out of the patterns, so that it starts, as you were saying before, a mirror of themselves. How they think is how they feel, and how they feel is how, and it works in harmony. And I guess that's the way that you can then become, you can uplift, you can become more forward thinking, by being in the now. Because if you're in the past, you're not leaving any space to move into your dreams. You're carrying all those burdens. And I love the idea of the icons throughout your home, in your car, that constant reminder, because I think it has to be over and over and over again to weave those patterns. And then one of the things that I've always admired about what you do is you just don't work with somebody to lose old patterns, but at the same time, you're bringing in the new patterns and the new ways and the more hopeful things and the more peaceful things, so that it's like you help them shift out of one, but then you don't leave that space open for too long so that they go right back into it. You help them find new things to bring into that space, so that they're moving ahead, they're moving away from their pain. And then with Isaiah, he works with so many people on the physical, because the more that they stay in those negative patterns, the more it gets deeper and deeper in the body. So I love the way a person can work in the physical and then emotional at the same time, to bring to become a new you, a new way of being. It's wonderful. It's
I
just
love it.
great. And you have a new book. I know that you've been working on it for quite a few years, where you've
Mhm.
really incorporated a lot of these daily thinkings,
Yeah.
philosophies. Can you
Yes.
tell me a little bit about your book? Even though I know it's right now it's just with your clients, but eventually I
Yeah.
hope it comes to a lot more people.
You know, I think everybody came to this world to do something.
Mhm.
And I believe mine was to bring how the matrix works. How does life really work?
Yeah.
That's what I've been shown since I was young. And some of us remember it faster than others. And
Mm.
some, I mean, there are some that walk in and they just, I said, God, you're a Neo. They get it. And they implement and they do and they move and they create and they heal. And it's really fantastic. I think the next generation is so skilled. What
Mhm.
took me so long to learn and implement and put into a process, because there's a big scientist in me, and then the artists, they came together. Some
Yeah.
get it so quickly, which I love. I think they'll be great leaders, and that is my objective. I want good to win. And so
When
I took my private practice and turned it into a water bar, so they can come 7 days a week and be inspired with yummy, healthy, fabulous connections, foods, and answers. So that's
Mhm.
what the water bar is. But
Okay.
And you do
and
work
yeah,
a lot with a lot of people in their 20s. I've
I
noticed that.
I have a few 13-year-olds right now that go with the mom. I work in a large organization where I get CFOs and some beautiful players in life that are really trying to be better, trying to lead, trying to do it in the right way without the ego. The ego could destroy. It's a great thing to have an ego as long as it's balanced, which I have a scaled system over here. I love objects, let's say that.
Yeah.
But this is the book, which is Codes Within,
Mhm.
and it's broken down in an interesting way that shows you how you can, keep things very linear and see it, or go emotional where it's invisible and figure it out, and both go together. So, and I make it, where they can go through the process and implement why they came here. It's to have a great life.
Mhm.
And it gets tricky sometimes,
Yeah.
with different variables, and we teach about that too. That's why I like healthy ingredients, and the kitchen has it.
And you work with
Um,
people that have PTSD as well, right? A lot of trauma.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
To help
yeah.
them.
Because the soul comes here many times. It's not the first time it comes here, so it brings all of the emotional baggage, whether it's good or bad, and their lessons. And those lessons could be learned if they're open to it. And the world is changing. Thank God, enlightenment, awareness, science, and mind are all kind of coming together. I
Yeah.
hope we see how powerful we are as souls, and what we can do is so much bigger than what we do. So
Yeah.
it's just remembering.
Yeah. Well, bless you and bless your work. And You're amazing. And I've seen the results of your work over and over and over again. And, and the gratitude that people have for you, for helping them along the way, because there's not many people that are able to, you know, to see the path ahead. You really help clear, the way, the clouds and everything long enough for them to be able to move forward and step forward. And that's a great thing. And I love that you're doing with the younger people, so they don't have to, like you were saying, have the same, burdens. They can get it faster and move faster into being productive and, being of service. So thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
that.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And for people that are interested in the book and the work, they can always, go to healingzoneworld.com, and we'll have information for them to then be able to find you for coaching. Or, I know you have people that work with you now that are coaches, that you've taught a lot of people, so that, as you expand, there's people there for everybody. So
I call them thought strategists, just so you
thought
know.
strategists, that's
I do.
perfect.
They're very methodical in what they think, what they say, and what they teach to do, and it's why I like their results.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so
I'm
much for
here.
being a guest on Be Your Own Advocate. Isaiah, did you have anything that you wanted to
I
add?
do. Yeah. Yeah. I like
Great.
to, what comes up when I see you, feel you as we sit here, it just feels like coherence is in the field, right? Feels
I
like
know
coherence
I
is,
wanna hug you, and I don't even know you.
but there's so much power in that coherence, and I guess what I want to ask is, do you feel like the redirections, like in terms of people's patterns and getting them to shift into more regulated self, higher function, higher self-orientation, like how would you describe that process in general with people? What are you helping them to do in order to maintain a new rail, say, of consciousness, of focus, of attention? What's that process kind of, what are the mechanics of that process, if you could kind of talk about that?
I made it simple, where I took the artist in me and I just made lessons where they could remember that there's 86,400 living seconds in a day. So I have it where they can either buy an object or just keep it simple in print. And I have done them where it teaches them a very simple lesson and process emotionally and physically. And they go through that for the, first month of us working together while we do a stitch effect, I call it, which is taking the negative that they have such high numbers to and have them focus in the living moment over what they want, not the pain that they dislike. And from that, it lightens the frequency, because all our souls are about frequency, and thoughts turn into form or experiences based on what we put into the now. But there's 86,400 living seconds in a day when we're awake. A lot of people don't pay attention to what even they're thinking. So I really when I walk by them and they're having a cappuccino, I'll rub their back and say, "Are you present?" And they'll pull their soul, their awareness, their emotions into the body. That's the home base. It's like a charge. It's like charging your cell phone. If you don't go internal and ask yourself what you need, you will deplete. You will create what you don't like. You will follow those who don't always have your best interests either. Because when a
Yes.
soul isn't aware, they love to have other people, like attracts like, do the same thing, be unaware.
Wow.
So, who you surround yourself is important. What you think about yourself is important. And I call it flipping a number, flipping a
Mhm.
focus, flipping an objective, which is the butterfly that I bring. And when you do that, bear with me, my visual side, I could go very advanced to where it's the scaled system and break it down in the science form.
Yeah.
The chakra system is pretty much everything that's important, which you had mentioned. And oh, it's funny. And I don't
I
have it
like
over
I like all the
here.
cues, icons, visuals. Those things are
I
really
try.
helpful for people.
I
Yeah.
try. I can break it down to the science form of it, because it helps them understand it in a logical, an emotional, and a statistical way. And some
Mm.
people, they think a lot, which is, sometimes not the best thing. So I like to try to just
Isn't
get
that
them to
the
see it.
truth?
It seems
Yeah.
like when I look at you right now in this moment too, it feels like you're a time traveler. And what I think about is people that are very present have that quality, right? There's a
Mm,
timelessness there. There's an ability to access different portals, so to speak, and to like
We can talk about that one day.
kind of work the magic, you know. But yeah, the presence is where it's at, and
Yeah, it really is.
being present in the discomfort right now, kind of growing our wings, so to speak. The analogy I thought of this morning was a bird landing on a branch. You know, it doesn't always need the perfect stable branch because it has wings, right? So the focus is like, how do we develop and grow our wings and our nervous system and our emotional self and our physical self, so that if we run across a rotten branch or an unstable branch, it's all good, you know?
I love that. I love that analogy.
Yeah.
I do. And I'd love to see, I have etched on our crest world peace, and I ring the bell and have everybody say it out loud, which is doubling the number. I think we need many to be present right now. I tell my boys that all the time.
Mhm.
You have to lead from your heart. You have to understand what you're thinking, and more importantly, what you're going to do with those thoughts and those feelings. And
Yeah.
they're doing pretty good with that. And I hope that they surpass me in helping people just by being themselves and having the right frequency, the right choices, the right actions, the right friendship, you know. And
I like
let's
that.
see where the world goes. There needs more of us. It's nice to see, and I've loved Isabel from the moment I met her, which is its
Yeah.
own very unusual story.
Yes,
And here we are, almost 20
here
years
we are.
we've known each other, from a homeless woman who passed on a paper
Yeah.
plate her number to me because I fed her. And I went to Montclair that I've never been to just to meet Isabel, who is magnificent. Her heart is as beautiful as her soul. I mean, it's wow.
Nice.
She's incredible. I never see her anything other than love. It's beautiful.
Kisses to you. So I'm
Just
talking
working that
to
energy.
Isaiah about coming to New Jersey, and when he does, he can come into the water bar, the charging station, and see the amazing world that you've created. So
Thank
God
you.
bless, and I will see you soon to hug you. And I'm so glad we had a chance for you to
Oh,
share
thank you.
your wisdom. And
Thank you. I'm
Thank
so
you, Jay.
glad I got to meet them. Thank you, Isaiah. I really look forward to talking again. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And for
Okay.
everyone listening, remember, it's always up to you to be your own advocate. So we'll see you soon. Thank you.